Again?
Yeah. So I'm gonna start now. Okay. So we should be go. So, okay, go ahead. Start.
Hello, Lovettsville. This is Lovettsville 20180 Liberty Radio, for the most part, hour.
Yeah. Yes, and my name is Warner Workman,
And I'm Darcy Shaka.
and we're here for the evening. So we're recording another one, October 4th. Well, it's Tuesday, right?
October 4th.
But we have a whole list of people that we're going to invite on the show today, right? So
Here we
we
go
didn't talk
again.
about this yet. We blew off Chris Plant last week,
Oh.
but he couldn't make it
That's
this
a-
week.
that's a
So we
crime.
actually have Mark Levin coming on later on today, right?
Is that why
So
you wore your special
toward
hat?
I did, yeah, my little tri-cornered hat. This was, what happened is Mark and I were pretty good friends, right? And so he called me up and he said, "Hey, I want to be," because he does his own, TV show.
I
but he does it
know,
on the
Levin
internet.
TV now.
No,
Are
absolutely.
you a subscriber?
I'm a subscriber, but I never get a chance to watch it, right? I should give
Can
him
you
a
not-
user ID and password. But anyway, he said, "Hey, Warner, as popular as your and Darcy's show is, I want to be on it." Right, so I told him. So he's going to come by
coming
later
tonight?
on. We're going to save the last 5 minutes this time. We're not doing what we did on
Where
Chris
does he
Plant.
live?
He actually lives in Leesburg. He lives in
Is he the one
River
who lives in River Chase or River
yeah,
Bend
whatever.
or something?
It's the
Yeah.
bazillion $1 million homes with,
If you hear him talk
with
about
the
the-
wall.
Right.
You got to
Hear
go
him
through
talk
the little
about his
gates.
homeowners association or whatever.
Yeah.
Surprised he lives in one of those,
No, absolutely.
Mr. Rule Follower.
That's right.
You love Mark Levin.
But we do have a full slate of stuff to talk about,
Yeah.
right? So, again, we could easily do this for 3 hours a day, and that's our ultimate
Which
goal,
is
right?
why, yeah.
Right? We'll settle for 1 hour on Saturday, but hopefully we're going to get to the point where we have 3
Take
hours.
what we can get,
Yeah,
right.
absolutely, right. So let's start out with really a serious subject, right? So this is the PTSD conversation that we've been having lately. Not we, but the press. So Trump had made a comment, and naturally the press took it, twisted it, and then just mauled him like a pit bull.
Right. Imagine that happening.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about. So the comment was made. Trump made the comment that, and I'm going to butcher his statement, but ultimately it was somewhat
I
implied.
like the
well,
gist of it, yeah.
yeah, some people, just
Some
weaker
people will
than
get it,
others.
some people won't.
No, absolutely, right. And so, that's true with anything.
Anything, right.
And the thing I appreciated really about Trump's statement was he actually acknowledges there's a problem.
Right, because
Right?
there is.
And he wants to do something about it.
Yeah.
So instead of importing hundreds of thousands, if not 1 million, illegal aliens from the Middle East, let's take that money.
Right. And help these guys.
No,
with
absolutely,
the
right. This is a
PTSD.
serious
Yeah.
thing. Because I'll be honest with you, I think, I sell guns, right? I think it would be extremely traumatic to kill somebody.
Oh, absolutely.
Even
You'd never
I don't
be the
even
same
care.
again.
I don't even care if the guy was attacking me.
Right. No,
I think the fact that I ended a
life, exactly, would be
Yeah.
enough to.
even if justified, right?
Exactly.
And
I'm
so
right there with you.
yeah. And
I
so
mean, you want one to defend yourself, but God forbid if you ever had to.
No,
Seriously. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it's.
he
was completely fair in making his comment, and all he was doing was stating a fact.
right.
Simple, wasn't a put
Yeah.
down to anyone. And if you listen in the morning for a few of the comments
Right.
from military that called in, they didn't take
Yeah.
it that way at all.
No, absolutely right. Yeah,
No,
there's
it's
just.
our lovely media, CNN,
And I'll be honest
NBC.
with you, I don't want GIs who are unaffected by killing another human being.
Absolutely. I mean,
Right.
if they weren't affected, who
Yeah.
would they be?
The reality is we got Muslim extremists that, kill and maim and behead and torture and
Right.
burn alive and
and they're
dip
so
in
proud of
oil.
it, they send out videos of it.
No, absolutely, right. That is a sick, twisted, warped religion and mind.
Seriously,
right?
the fact that these guys are willing to go and do something that's could send them into PTSD
No,
for
absolutely.
us,
Yeah.
it's just unthinkable.
Yeah. No, I agree. So, hats off to Trump as far as I'm concerned.
It's
for
just another
acknowledging
case of the media
problem.
trashing him and trying to find when he's trying to say something positive, they have to twist it around.
Yeah, and a lot of times when you are in fact talking off the cuff, you just say things in a manner, that people may not understand.
But the normal person understood
I
what
know,
he
I know.
meant.
Well, but in contrast to Hillary Clinton, or Obama, right?
Right.
So Obama reads everything to include, talking to his family off a teleprompter, right? So he sits around breakfast and there's a teleprompter that says, "Good morning,
What are
Michelle,
Yeah.
How are you today, right? And, Hillary Clinton's the same thing. So she's wearing an earpiece kind of thing, and they're feeding
what
her
to
stuff.
say, what not to
Yeah,
say.
so she's like a little mechanical, right? And, but anyway, yeah, so never off script, right? Yeah, no, it's just a sick twist.
It is, it's just...
It's just an amazing...
What does Chris say? It's an amazing world we live in today.
Yeah.
It's great to be a Democrat.
No, absolutely, right? Yeah. Where you can suspend the laws of physics and nature and logic and reasoning.
Well, you can be the biggest hypocrite known to man and act like you're...
No, absolutely, yeah.
So
actually, let's jump right into that. So let's talk about paying taxes, right? So the latest and greatest from the press is that Donald Trump, didn't pay taxes, right? And why? Because he didn't make any money.
Well,
right? So typically...
Could be, he does spend a lot.
No, absolutely. If you don't make money, typically you don't pay taxes on it, right?
Right.
So we get about 50% of the population that doesn't pay taxes, right?
Right.
But that was sort of the big thing, right? And so, it's the tax code, right, as built over the years by predominantly Democrats, right? The progressive tax structure with these tax breaks for the cronies. So it's crony capitalism, right?
It's everything they complained about, even though they developed it.
No,
right?
Absolutely, right.
And here we go again. It's
like Obamacare. No, it's like Obamacare.
It doesn't apply to us. It only applies to you people.
Yeah. It's just like Obamacare, right? So
right. None of the Congress wants anything to do with Obamacare, but the rest of you minions, please go sign up right away. And if you don't, we'll fine you.
No, absolutely right.
It's just another day in the Banana Republic factory.
So the bottom line is Donald Trump, as with all Americans, are legally paying the least amount of taxes possible, right? And so that's because that's the law, right? So now let me ask you a question. Do you list among your charitable contributions donations to Obama and the federal government?
Well, it gets called my federal taxes.
But you don't donate above and beyond that. It's like, I like Obama. I'm just going to write. I'm going to write the government a $100 check this month.
Instead of donating to save the Mustangs or the veterans, I'm going to write him an extra check.
No, absolutely right.
And everybody does that, right? Don't you do that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And what kills me about the whole thing is, Clinton has for years, right, avoided paying taxes, right? So the whole Clinton Foundation is nothing more.
That's because their taxes go into the Clinton Foundation.
No, absolutely, right. So they launder money.
Profit,
yeah,
right.
They launder money
right. To themselves.
No, absolutely. Man, I got to get one of those deals. Well, we're gonna
figure this out. We're gonna call it can't be that hard.
The D&W, right? The Darcy and Warner Charitable Contribution, Charitable Fund.
Yeah.
Right, money for people. That's the
money for the people.
The theme tag.
Let's start it now before it's too late.
I think so. Yeah. Operators standing by. Dial 1-800-FREE-MONEY, and donate to the D&W Charitable Foundation.
I just hope that I'm dead before we can stop laughing about this because it's really it keeps me up at night.
No, it's insane, right? And so the reality is, if we did have a logical tax structure. And we had people paying taxes, right? And so that's why one of the big things is it's a flat tax, right? So and let's get rid of all these deductions.
What do you think about the flat tax?
Oh, I mean that's the only way to go.
Yeah.
I mean that's what people don't understand is when the reason we have tax deductions is because the tax rates are so high. So you got every special interest group. Yeah, you got every special interest group, lobbying Congress. And so what does Congress do? Hey, give me some money and I'll push that little tax credit in for peanut farmers in Henrico, Georgia or something,
Henrico, no, that's Henrico County, Virginia.
No, well, I think you're right. I just made it up.
No, your point's taken exactly.
Yeah, no, it's insane, right? I mean, the reality is, I have a business and you have a business, right? And do you not count every penny that you spend as a business expense?
It's
right
huge.
from toilet paper to ink pens, right, to your hairspray, to the electric.
You wouldn't believe how much the expenses are. I mean, you think, I got my rent is this, and my electricity. There's a million other things, and then on taxes on top of that, which really is the crusher. I have to admit, it's the crusher.
Well, now how do you now? So I, since I'm in sales, right, I have to pay a sales tax, right? And I do it monthly, okay. But that's on your if you sell
only on
something,
retail,
right?
Yes.
So now, is there a quote unquote sales tax on a haircut?
No.
Okay.
If there is, I don't know about it. Don't give him any ideas.
We may have to delete this part in case it is a felony, and she just confessed to it, right?
I didn't know it worked for Hillary.
No, absolutely.
I didn't know.
I didn't know what the C meant.
All right.
Crazy. Didn't stand for Clinton. Let's just say that.
Aren't you funny tonight?
I'm one girl. I actually have liquid in here, and this was a cup. Can you see it? My daughter brought me back from Florida.
Guess what the liquid is?
No, I got this like little thingy in my throat, so I knew I was going to have to drink something.
Yeah. Okay. You used to pretend like you're on the morning show or something with what Kelly and something.
No, absolutely. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the next.
Yeah. So that was basically for the taxes, right?
Yeah, paying taxes.
So let's talk about Obamacare.
Because it's doing really well.
It is, right? It's one of the most successful business enterprises ever in liberal land.
Right.
Right?
Yeah,
so again, when you suspend all logic and reasoning, right, and you live in a bizarre world, it's been very successful.
Right.
So
see, this is what I want people to know. The news media will put out there that 10 million people that didn't have insurance have insurance now. But what they don't say is 50 million people aren't paying for their surgeries because they can't afford it, and they've lost their insurance because they can't afford it. So less people actually have insurance now than did before the Affordable Care Act.
No, absolutely. That's what
it's a crime. I mean, the lies that went on for that, keep your doctor. And you know what? They play that over and over again, and people don't care.
I know.
How do you know?
Is that insane?
It is.
I think it's insane.
And there isn't, well, all politicians not like that.
Yeah.
To the point where it truly affects your pocketbook on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Heads are up.
It's totally completely insane. So here's the big thing that's going on Obamacare now.
Yeah, so tell us.
So I think it was Minnesota, Michigan, someplace up there, right? A leftist state, basically, right? Their Obamacare premiums went up 67%, right? Now, here's the funny thing. So Bill Clinton, right? He's back on the scene. He's back from the dead.
So when you're saying that the Obamacare, what do you call it? Their premiums. The premiums went up 60%.
67%.
So those that are signed up on that system, the increase is on them. It's not on businesses or.
Correct. Yeah.
So if you have Obamacare, your premium's gone up 67%.
In that state,
And why is that only in that state? Like what's?
Well, it's just the way they do the insurance. The way the thing is structured. So it is. In certain geographic areas and stuff like that.
Okay.
I mean, there is an administrative function associated with that, right? So, here's
so random. But go ahead.
Well, that's insanity. So keep in mind of what Obamacare is, right?
Yeah.
So it is a pyramid scheme, right? So what you do is you take quote unquote poor people, right? And young people, and you put them in the same pool, right? So the young people who don't have high health expenses, right? And if they make any kind of decent money, they're paying full price.
Exactly.
And a lot of that money is going to subsidize the poor people, right? So you're taking from young millennials, exactly, right, and giving it to poor illegal aliens. So California
that are paying that on top of their school loans that are
absolutely right,
$100,000.
Yeah, and so it's just a big pyramid scheme of taking money. It's a generational
from one group
theft,
to another.
right,
exactly.
from millennials to anybody that's poor. And the reality is, who are the poor people, right? So it's the illegal aliens, right? And because California now just passed a law, they're going to start doing. Giving Obamacare to illegal aliens, right? So that's coming, right? But a lot of times immigrants, little things like that, right? And so, but Bill Clinton trashed Obamacare, right? And the reason is because Hillary's going to launch into single payer system, and that is code word for socialized medicine.
Yeah.
Right. And so the last thing you want, let's talk about successful government programs. Okay, so we're done.
Right.
So let's move on.
It reminds me of the scene in Cinderella. There must be something nice about Lucifer.
No, it's...
So single payer means that basically, unless you have a boatload of money, or
No,
you're in government.
Single payer is everybody has one provider, and that provider is the federal government. So it doesn't matter how much money you have. Isn't that the way it is in
England? Yeah,
no, it is.
But royalty doesn't have to wait.
No, absolutely. Because as with everything, if you do have some money,
if you have money, you can fudge your way up to the top. But if you don't, you're going to wait for your cancer surgery or your transplant, and in the meantime,
most people, I've heard this sort of stat before, and I'm sure I'm off some, but not by much.
Right.
If you're over 50 and have kidney failure, right, you do not get a transplant. I mean, you just go home and die.
And socialized medicine.
And die, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's it, right? Now, if you're younger, it's a different story.
Right.
But if you're 50, 55, 60,
forget about it. We're done with you.
No, we're done with you. Yeah, absolutely, right? I mean, it's your duty
but it's a great
to the rest
thing.
of society, right? Yeah. And as a matter of fact, it's so successful that, people flee all the other socialized medicine countries and come here.
Right. Exactly. Go figure. But we're going to vote for that.
I know.
Somehow, 2 and 2 does not equal 4 anymore.
I know.
There.
Again, it's a bizarro world.
It is. I can't even. It causes me to be just speechless. I don't get it.
Yeah, because I'm always waiting for the people who talk about that to break out in the laughter. Right? Because it's like, they've done some deadpan joke and then laugh about it. But it's like, no, they're serious.
No.
It's like, really? You think that works? So you think Social Security works, right? Matter of fact, off topic, so we actually have an agenda today. Our infamous Senator Warner, wants to remake capitalism in his image, right? And so he's come forth with this plan that I think he put lipstick on a pig, but it's basically straight out of the Communist Manifesto, right? So it's functional. He says 401ks aren't working, profit sharing's not working, all this other stuff. So he wants basically just nationalization of all retirement plans. That's basically the end goal. Now, like I said, he put lipstick on a pig.
You're freaking me out,
and
man.
Somebody's going to kiss that pig, right? And it's called the Democrats, right? But anyway, he's basically talking about how the number of aged people who are living on solely Social Security. Well, the reality is, they chose a lifestyle. Right, of income and spending,
right?
That they gave them, in the end, not a whole lot of money, right? So Social Security was never meant to be the retirement system. It was part of 3 legs, right?
Right.
So your own savings, at the time, corporate
here's
retirement.
A supplement, basically, but it's not your income.
I mean, because we didn't want total abject poverty, right?
Right.
And so I understand the concept. We should have implemented something like that substantially different. But I was dumbfounded the number of people who thought, "Oh, this is a good idea." It's like, it's communism. Right? And do you not know what communism is? I mean,
no, because they're not teaching that.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely, yeah, and that's why they.
Speaking of, do you know what they're? Did you hear about Duke University teaching, basically men to get away from their, what were they calling it?
Hormones.
Their toxic male behavior. That there's a class on how not to be.
No, absolutely.
A man.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I like ancient Greek manhood rituals. Right, I think we should do more of that crap, right? And they just used to, basically.
You might end up burning in a fire like they did with the witches.
When you were, 12 or 13, they basically marched you out into the wilderness and they gave you a spear, and $2, and you had to live out there, for like 30 days.
Did they give you a horse like the Indians would give the little squaws or whatever?
No. No, I mean, you just had to survive. And if you didn't survive, guess what?
Is there anywhere we could hide?
No, this is it. So that's a problem, right? So, all through world history, people who love liberty and freedom, right, have fled to somewhere else.
Yeah.
Right? And so they've fled tyranny and they've moved around. I mean, the reality is the pilgrims who came here, was fleeing British. English, religious tyranny. So they went to Holland and then they came over and stuff like that, right? Problem is there's nowhere else to go, right? And that's why this is the last stand, right? For people who really sort of love and cherish freedom. Which is why
the people that talk about the one world order, that's us they have to destroy because we're the only ones that are going to fight it.
Yeah, I mean, we're the only ones speaking up.
Right.
And talking about the way things should be and the way things were.
Right. Like the reason we started this country to begin with.
Yeah. And what's funny, back to the Obamacare thing, so I heard one socialist Democrat, leftist, right? He goes, oh, well, everybody knew Obamacare wasn't work because the pool of people wasn't large enough. I.e., we need nationalized, socialized medicine, single payer. He said, yeah, having a health insurance system that only, services 20 million people isn't profitable. It needs to be 40, 50, and 60 million.
Isn't profitable.
Right. Yeah. That's why they're all losing money. That's why they're having to jack up rates, all this other stuff, right? And so, again, this whole thing, don't think for a second
but
that
think
this
about those words, isn't profitable. So who now wants to make the profit off the sick people? The government does. But everybody right now wants to get on the insurance companies and the pharmaceutical, which I do too. Yeah. Okay, but you don't want them to make the money now. The government wants to make the money now off of you being sick. Okay, well, that makes it right.
Yeah, the reality is the government makes more profit off of the sale of a firearm from me than I do. That's the bottom line, right? Because they charge 6% sales tax, and I guarantee you, my quote unquote profit at the end of the year is not 6%.
Yeah.
Right. It's that simple.
Yeah.
And their income's guaranteed.
Exactly.
Right. Because every time I make a sale, whether I make money or not, I could lose $900 million.
Right.
They still make 6% on every sale.
Off of your effort. But you didn't build that.
I know.
Jeez, get out of here, you guys. Oh, so let's talk about the Filipino guy.
Wait, sometimes I do want to take a taser.
Oh my goodness!
And I want to shock them just to see if I get like a reboot. Like your computer sometimes messing up. You do the reboot. You just turn it off.
Are there any updates?
Yeah, no, absolutely. We're waiting for a download.
Program
of sanity.
No good piece of.
Yeah, your sanity algorithm has been, yeah, no, it's insane.
It is insane. Yeah. It's like.
Yeah, should we talk about Philippines?
I can't even. Yeah. Because I don't really know about this, so you need to.
This is funny.
Fill us in.
So the Filipino president, I now love this guy. Right?
You're going to be friends with him.
No,
next
and
week?
the thing is, I've been to the Philippines, right? And so he's a hard ass, right? So he wants to make his nation better. Ultimately, that's what it's doing, right?
Okay.
So he is hunting down and killing extremists in his nation. So I'm talking about drug dealers.
What we should be doing.
No, absolutely. I'm talking about drug dealers, guys who are doing heroin, opium, and all that stuff, right? But he's doing it to Islamic extremists as well. Well, apparently Obama, didn't particularly like the fact that he was actually killing evil people, and he called them Islamic extremists, right?
Right. Called what they were.
And so he made some critical comment about the Filipino president, and the Filipino
president. Is he the same one that basically gave him a piece of his mind?
Oh yeah,
about a month ago. Is this the same one?
Oh, the same guy.
Okay,
that's why I'm saying I like this guy.
So somebody made him apologize the last time, but anyway, go ahead. Yeah,
he's got more cojones than all the Republicans in Congress.
Oh my goodness, no kidding.
Yeah. So anyway, he flat out told Obama, "Go to hell."
He did?
Yeah, flat out. Go to
in English
hell.
or his language?
That's a good question.
Would you love to hear him say it? I would.
Yeah. Well, and here's the deal. So, the United States, won, the Philippines after the Spanish-American War, whatever, right? And so, it was a, U.S. territory or whatever for, decades, right?
Okay.
And but over time, actually it was after World War II. The U.S. gave them their independence and freedom or whatever, right? And but we used to have a military base there, several. But one of them, it was a big one, right? Pacific. It was the Clark Air Force Base, if I remember right. And there was a naval station, Subic Bay, maybe. But anyway, when Marcos was kicked out, right? And Corazon Aquino, I think was her name, came into power. The lease on those properties were up, and actually the Filipinos kicked out of the United States, right? So at the time I thought, bad move,
right?
But in hindsight, I thought about it over the years. I'm going like, no. Every nation needs to relish their national sovereignty,
right,
without a foreign power occupying their country.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so
as long as they're not terrorizing the world and their neighbors.
No, absolutely, right.
Yeah.
I mean, I think at some point we need to get out of, Japan. I mean,
I was just thinking
we kicked their butt 70 years ago. It's over.
Time to go. Get out of here.
We've overstayed our welcome,
right?
And so just get on with life, right? So, but I love this guy. Go to hell. I like that.
I think I'm
gonna have to send him. I'm gonna have to send him a thank you.
He's the only one that basically is, according to what you're saying. I haven't heard that. That's great news, though.
No.
Hey, I'll take what I can get. Philippines, I don't care where you're from.
Yeah.
Let's have it.
Well, and what's funny is, the Congress or some Republicans, supposedly Republicans, right, are saying that, I think we can work with Hillary if she becomes president. And I'm like, really? Name me one thing that you agree with her on. Just one. I don't know.
Well, if they do, they might as well be a Democrat.
No, absolutely. Right? I mean, it's just insane. And that's why Newt Gingrich... It's going to be
a one-party system. I mean, it's deteriorating.
Did you hear about all the dead people voting? So we got all these dead people voting. Isn't that funny?
Oh. What do I keep telling you? That they are going to frickin' cheat via the computers.
Hey, I'm selling more firearms before the election.
Speaking of firearms and commercials, did you see that it was on during a football game, I think, about firearms? It's a good commercial for firearms. A lady's
was it by the NRA?
Home alone. I think so.
So. Oh yeah, I heard about it.
It was good, actually.
Was it good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
Well, and that's the thing is that again, I mean, I say this all the time. So every human being has a right to self-defense, right? And so we have Islamic extremists who just beat the crap out of their wives.
Yeah. But let's
stick up for them. Who pour acid on them, or who mutilate them, or whatever, right? And so even though the women are Muslims, right? So I don't care that they're Muslims; they have a right to self-defense.
Absolutely.
And the fact that feminists in this country aren't railing endlessly about the evil male dominance of Muslims.
They're going to teach male toxicity behavior here in America at Duke University.
Yeah, well, they're going to have Muslims in there.
But we're going to defend them.
No, absolutely.
Oh my God, insane? It is. It's unexplainable.
Yeah,
it's unexplainable.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, it's like talking to maybe a 6-year-old, right? So they're in a room somewhere, and you're not, right? And you hear this crash, right? And you run in, and there's a vase that's on the ground. It's shattered into a million pieces,
right?
And the kid's right next to it,
right?
And he's going like, "I just did it."
Right, but no one else is in the
room. I don't know how it happened, right? Because you're the only one in there,
right?
And he's got a ball. I didn't.
And
there's
a piece of glass on the ball,
or a bat. It just
right?
It's like what?
But you're supposed to believe that.
No, absolutely right. So you got to come up with a better story than that, man. I like the fact that I
wish I'd have been born in 1925.
Speaking of self-defense, and I don't know any of these people, but I think it's funnier how. So this Kim Kardashian was, tied up and robbed overseas, right, in Germany apparently, but in a country that has banned guns.
Really?
But she was robbed at gunpoint. They tied her up and stole like $10 million or something.
Well, Germany's been coming up with a lot of guns lately, considering that they're gun-free.
I know.
Isn't that interesting?
But she's a radical anti-gun nut job who was robbed in a country that's a radical anti-gun nut country,
right?
By a guy with a gun.
But go figure. Yeah. We're back in the room with the ball and the vase and
and somehow it's Donald Trump's fault.
Oh.
I don't know how, but they're going to blame Donald Trump at some point, right? It's going to be racist, misogynist, Obama, right?
You got to admit they are crazy clever at turning stuff around.
Man, they got the two farthest points on the planet. They somehow can tie those two together.
I know.
Isn't that weird?
Next thing you know, summer's going to be winter, and winter's going to be summer, according to them. Oh yeah. Well, speaking of, and now you're.
Oh yes, that was a good segue. And we didn't even plan that thing.
Because that is the number one concern in the world.
No, absolutely.
Oh yeah, I'm telling you.
Yeah, because I feel like the climate change that happens in the next 15 minutes may kill off most Americans, right? Oh no, that's Islamic extremists, right? Oh, that's right. Sometimes I get those confused, right?
Well, climate change could develop a truck that's just going to run over us and
No, yeah, exactly. Yeah. The climate's going to get back at us. They're going to drive a truck down the street full of partying
That
people.
should be our number one concern is climate change.
No, absolutely, yeah. Because Mother Nature is fill in the blank. She's out to get us.
Well, she is
I wonder if they.
right
I wonder
now.
if they call it, Mother Nature extremists. Would they do that?
Well, no, because they don't use the word extremist unless it's about you and I.
No, absolutely, yeah, that's true, yeah. So let's talk about this. So it was an interesting just comment that we all know that climate change is a quote unquote hoax, right? So it's all about scientists getting money to study something that can't be discovered, right? And so
I just love how you say that. And there lies the question.
No, absolutely.
Science that can't be discovered.
No, it's like the TV show Frasier, right? So they're both, him and Frasier and the brother Niles. They're both psychologists, right?
Right. Niles, they were funny.
Oh, they were. I love the show.
I love Niles.
But anyway, I remember one time Niles saying something like, making some joke about he had a patient who was never going to be cured because his health insurance paid for psychiatric treatments.
Okay,
Meaning, I can't declare this guy cured, so I'm going to see him every week until eternity, right?
Yeah.
And so that is in fact what climate change is. But I heard this interesting comment that climate change, and I'm reading this off my teleprompter.
Okay, Obama.
Climate change is the radical Islam of science, right? So everything that climate change was supposed to produce by now has not occurred, right? So Al Gore, 10 years ago made the famous statement that the North Pole would be ice-free by, I think, 2014, 2015. I can't remember which.
Are we past that now?
I think so, yeah. And the last time I checked, there's ice on the North Pole. As a matter of fact, the ice sheet is the largest it's ever been in recorded history.
Well, they don't tell us that on the news.
No. All they ever show us polar bears on a little bitty ice cube floating in the water.
Wow, you
right?
do that well. On a little bitty ice cube, and then the little paws are hanging over the side. We need more ice.
With a sunburn on his back, right? He's got a red streak on the back because he's sunburned, right?
Oh, I do love the critters.
No, absolutely. No, it's totally and completely insane.
But see, they are. But if you talk to somebody who is studying it, or who thinks they know about it, they say the fact that we don't understand that it's happening is that we just have no clue what's.
I know, and I always go back to what is the evidence, right? So
I know
we all know, and this has come out in I think some of the WikiLeaks emails, is that you had a bunch of scientists conspiring to fake the climate change data. I mean, this is just a fact. This isn't. A conspiracy. It would not
surprise me one day.
No, absolutely. Because the data did not support their preconceived conclusion or the predetermined conclusion.
But honestly, the climate's been changing since the beginning of time.
No, absolutely. So what I haven't figured out.
You are nuts. What?
You
better figure it out before we freeze.
I want to figure out how many SUVs dinosaurs drove. Right, because when we had the big ice age,
it took me a minute. Sorry, it's late, guys. So, what did you just say?
No, actually, so once upon a time, in the middle of America, and we're talking about Nebraska, Kansas, they was under ice. And we're not talking about a half-inch sheet. We're talking about a mile, like 2 miles
ice skate on it
of
all day.
Ice, right, and it took thousands of years to melt, right. And so if ice was down that far, right, and so clearly dinosaurs started global warming, because that's basically when the environment started. Could be cow farts. California is regulating cow farts, right? Did you hear about this, man? This is just funny. No, it's just insanity, right? But again, the whole thing about this, climate change is all the time, And what people don't understand is that, they think by me driving my little SUV somehow that outweighs this massive ball of nuclear fission that's occurring 93 million miles away from this planet, right? And so somehow my Ford SUV has more of an impact than this massive heat source.
Okay, well, you know what? If you really believe in climate change, then get rid of your car.
No, absolutely.
I don't see liberals. Get rid of your car.
Yeah.
Now there's some riding their bikes. That's great. Yeah.
Stop eating beans.
Exactly.
Don't want flagellants.
I don't give up your phone, give up your car, and give up everything else. But I don't see them doing it. But you and I are supposed to.
No, absolutely right.
But they don't have to because what?
And it goes back to Al Gore. So when he goes from conference to conference, talking about global climate change and our carbon footprint, he's flying solo in this massive jet.
That's what I mean. Their carbon must be
chemtrails across the planet, right?
Their gases are different than ours, I'm sure. Far more pure than ours. Obviously, because they can get away with everything and it doesn't bother the planet. But if you and I do it, it's going to blow the planet up.
I know. No, it's yeah.
How do you even?
It would be funny if it wasn't so funny.
It would be funny if it weren't real.
No, absolutely.
But the fact that it's real makes it almost terrifying. So what's our last? Oh yeah.
Well, we get into the schooling issue, right? So let's face it, our current, and I'm going to call it a single party system of education. So we have massive public education, right? That's dominated by the National Education Association, the NEA, right?
Okay.
And so there's a couple things that we want from people, right? We never want anybody to fail anymore, right? And so instead of having them study more,
have them study.
We're going to have them study less. So we got school systems across the nation that are ultimately banning now homework, right? And so while other nations are increasing their level of education and
probably requirements for passing.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Grades
right?
and
somehow all of a sudden, we're going in the opposite direction, which just again proves that the NEA has nothing to do with education. It has to do with all leftist policies.
Right.
It's control. Right.
Dummy us down.
No, absolutely. And because don't give little Johnny a B, because he's smart. He's smart as a whip.
Right.
He won't get into college. He'll be a ditch digger all his life if he makes a B.
Well, that's what they want, ditch diggers.
No, absolutely. That's why they're letting all the illegal immigrants in.
We're going to be building pyramids for the Clintons if you guys don't get off this crap.
I like that. That's pretty good, man. We'll be out there laboring away under the hot sun, Arkansas sun.
You know what?
I like that. That was a good.
I would call it a day. I gotta admit, I'm not doing that for anybody.
No, absolutely. So the ban on homework, right? Instead of making our educational system more rigorous, right? Getting back to classical education, where you teach kids to be able to think, not what to think. Right, but how to think.
What to think is exactly right.
So 2 plus 2.
Critical thinking used to be a good thing.
No,
take all
absolutely.
this information and come up with, but now it's like, no, take this information and this is what you think and this is what you do.
Yeah. Well, they don't even care about the information. They just say this is what you think. And if you have
the information is manipulated, it's their information.
If you have information that's contrary to that, then just turn around and demonize it.
Right.
The source, i.e., the Islamic extremism of science. Right. Because it's just, it's totally and completely insane.
All I can do is make stupid faces.
I know.
I don't know what to say.
I know.
So dummy us down.
Dummy us down, right? And, and what's funny is,
but first of all, the United States isn't a place where we ban stuff.
I know, yeah.
We don't.
That's a good segue in the next one, but I'm not quite there.
Okay, we'll keep going.
But, the reality is, who's done the most on this planet to advance civilization? And I'm talking about, civilization, freedom, liberty. All those concepts. You can't
answer that question.
Yeah, and so the reality is, it's just the facts of life, right? So it's basically Greek civilization, right, that transitioned into Roman civilization, right? And which expanded, from there. So the reality is,
to European to us.
You never had these huge democratic institutions in anywhere in sub-Saharan Africa,
No.
Right? So you never had these institutions in, the Aztecs or the Mayans in Central and South America, right?
Right.
So you never had these kind of institutions in United States American Indians, right? You never had these institutions in China when you had the reign of the emperors and all that stuff, right? And so all these concepts that we cherish here in America, liberty and freedom and private property, right, and rule of law, right, those were developed, not in perfection, right, but they were developed by initially really the Greeks.
It's like they say we were truly the greatest experiment on earth.
No, absolutely. Yeah, there's no comparison, right? And so, in Greek it was all city-states, and it faltered after a while, but you had the great Roman Republic.
We won't even last as third of the length of time as they did.
No, absolutely.
If this happens.
Yeah. Greek power probably lasted total, city-states 200 or 300 years, whatever, right? But,
what about the Roman Empire?
Well, the Romans, that was almost, almost like 2,000 years. So the way the Romans worked, right, they sort of migrated a little bit. So the Byzantine Empire was basically the Eastern Roman Empire. When the West was
further and further.
When the Western Roman Empire was collapsing, right, the reality is the Byzantine Empire, in Constantinople at the time, it's now Istanbul. That was the Eastern Roman Empire, and so those concepts.
And that's also when Christianity took off too.
No, absolutely right. So. Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, the bottom line is, the great philosophers of Aristotle, Socrates, Plato. When you talk about, I'm trying to think of some of these other guys' names. Not Cicero. Is it Cicero? No. Cicero? No, not Cicero. What's it called?
Oh my goodness!
I just read a book on all these guys.
We'll have it next week.
We will. Oh, damn, we forgot about Mark Levin.
C.
I didn't hear him knock. Oh, there he goes. But I think we're running out of time, though, because we still got a couple of things.
We got one more thing.
Yeah, and again, it goes back to school.
And then you'll done your entire list.
We've done the entire list. Yeah, that's our new little microphone, so hopefully the audio is better. Even though I think I hear a little bit of reverberation. Do you?
No,
every once in a while?
I think it's in your head.
I think so, too. It's the voices. So talking more about, socialist indoctrination in our school system, right? So again, people like to go, oh, well, NEA is not in Virginia. No, NEA permeates every school system, practically every teacher, every administration, everything, right? It just means you're not there yet.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, but the other thing about the schools is, so they got this one school system in Georgia that's functionally banning every religious item, right? And so they're telling the teachers, you can't have anything anywhere. You can't have a Bible on your desk. You can't, for the most part, wear religious jewelry, even though it has to be really, really small.
What's interesting? There's a lot of Bible Belt areas in the South, and so
Georgia.
Well, exactly.
I mean, it's the Temple of Southern Baptists,
right?
Right.
We're actually, black gospel singers.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
If you have, it will give you goosebumps. The most beautiful music ever.
Yeah.
But seriously, so what? Freedom of speech, I guess.
No, absolutely right. Freedom of expression. And what was funny was in the conversation. So they had interviewed one of the I'll call it the town or the county, school board members, like the superintendent or whatever.
Yeah.
And they said, "Well, are you going to ban Bibles from the library?" Right. And the guy said, "We don't have Bibles in the library." It's like, so you have a library, and you don't have the most populous book sold
in the entire
every year, and the most sold book ever, the most published book ever. Anywhere at any time. You're telling me you don't have that book? No. Even as just historical reference. Right?
See what I mean?
I know.
How can that be?
I know. So wait, you're a library that doesn't have books. Well, only the ones that agree with our viewpoint. Right? That's ultimately what it is. Right? They are so hell-bent, right, on de-Christianizing and de-religiousizing.
If it does, it causes people to not rely on Because if people rely on God, then they rely on themselves because they're partnering up with God. They're not partnering up with the government.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, if we're going to go to that extreme, they have to ban the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution.
Well, that's exactly what they're working.
No, absolutely. Right? Because, we were endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights. Right? And so how can you have a document that acknowledges the existence of a creator?
Right.
Right? It just doesn't make any sense. Right? So at some point you have to get rid of those documents.
That's the plan.
No, absolutely.
Stan.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I like that. We should do a song like that. Go out the back, Jack.
I think they did, right? We were full of information tonight, really.
No, absolutely.
You were full of...
Yeah, a little bit full of something, yeah. I've been told that more than once, trust me, man.
Not by anybody in your family, I'm sure. Yeah. Okay, so next week, what are we doing next week? Are you on...
We're blowing off Marco then. Let's just call it.
Sorry.
We'll call them.
You and Chris.
Yeah.
They're my
right.
heroes, though.
Yeah.
Next time they'll be here.
Yeah, so with that said, anything else?
I don't think so. We covered a lot.
No, I think so. There's a lot of good information, right? It's
Should
amazing what happens when you prep a little bit, right?
Right? When you actually read.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
See, I do the radio, and then, the problem is you can't just read the regular news because it's...
Well, now, listen, so I don't know how many people are going to get to this point in this video, but I'll tell you, because nobody else is going to watch to the end.
Right.
But you'll know. You'll be like the first to know outside of my family,
okay.
Right? I was fired from the writing gig in the Purcellville Gazette. I was canned.
How?
No, she just called me up and said, "Hey, thanks very much. We're done." Now, with that said, I'm going to give her a little bit of, because she may, you never know, she may watch it. So what happened was I got an email that just said, "Hey, we're going to let Frank, who used to write it, we're going to let him take over for a little while." And I said, "Really?" I said, "Wait, just 1 week," because he did fill in 1 week because he had something he wanted to say. So she let him. It's her paper. I couldn't care less, right? But so I asked for clarification, and I said, "Wait, just 1 week or until the future, right?" And she goes, "Oh, until we call you again." Now she did say, "No, we want you to write again, but we're just going to change things up and stuff." Now with that said, Flannery's been writing his drivel over there for forever. But I do think she's legit. I think she's going to let me write some more. But I do think, for whatever reason, that she wanted to change it up, and but Frank's doing it now. The reality is,
Frank?
Well, Frank, Lovettsville Frank McDonough.
Oh, I know Frank McDonough.
No, he's a great guy. He's a great guy.
Oh, love Frank. Yeah,
no, absolutely. But what's funny is, so I had my articles, and Frank even told me this, right? No, absolutely right. Frank even told me this, that I have a much wider readership on my article than he did, right? And I agree with that, only in the sense that I have a ton of people.
So whose paper is this?
Well, it's I don't even know the woman. I've never even met the woman. This was funny. Her name's Kim, I think, and she. It's her paper, right? And I just send it in to the editor, every week or whatever. But I do. I believe her 100%. So this isn't a negative on her at all.
Frank's one of us.
Well, no. Frank's a great guy, right?
Yeah.
But he's just not as vocal.
Right.
So I don't mind calling a pig a pig. Right.
It is what it is. Right?
So and Frank's a great guy, but he's a nicer guy. So he would make a statement that would leave somebody wondering, "Wait, is that a pig?"
That's my husband. Right? Right.
And I just go like, "No, it's a pig," right? And so it's just a difference of approach, right? And so if you can do it in one word versus a paragraph, I go with the one word.
Right.
So anyway, but now with that said, like I said, she's going to let me write some.
Well, at least it's Frank. I love Frank.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
No. He's a great
there
guy.
you have it.
I know. But the reality is, and again, I doubt if many people are going to get to this point in the program.
It's just, I'm telling you, that is living proof that. But I
think I already have another writing gig. So
everything happens for a reason.
No, I'm
honey.
telling you, man, right? And so what happened was a guy who, and I won't go into it at the moment, who writes a paper, had asked me a while back to write an article, right? And I just said, I just can't do 2 articles. I'm doing this thing for the Purcellville Gazette, and I even told him, and the paper probably has maybe 8 to 10 times more circulation. Right? And,
oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I mean, it's much more widely circulated, right? So, but I told the guy, I said, I made a commitment.
Faster from that.
But I told the guy, I made this commitment to Purcellville Gazette, and I said, and I appreciate them for the opportunity, right? I said, I'm just not going to screw them, right? And so, and I said, and at the moment, I just don't have the bandwidth to write 2 articles,
yeah,
right?
I like
and
that,
so,
the bandwidth.
Yeah, and so now, now I do. Or now I still would only be writing 1, but I'm not writing. So so I've actually got one. I've already written a couple that I'm going to send in, and we're going to see if I can get them published. And so may be a regular now.
I gotta say, man, you really are. You're a beautiful writer. That's a shame.
No, absolutely right. And what was funny was, and
truly a talent.
And I appreciated this from the editor, right? I mean, I've never met the woman, right? But I appreciated. Her letting me write, whatever, right?
Yeah,
and so,
right.
And so I wrote a bunch of different articles, and I wrote them differently, right?
Because I was sort of what the impetus behind that was.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, she said they just wanted to, mix things up a little bit.
Well, why not mix it up on the other side?
No, I agree. But again, she's, it's her little paper.
Okay.
But I think, yeah, I mean, I just, I appreciated the fact that she never. Now she did reject some articles, right? Because sometimes they were a little bit too dicey. But I tried not to make them really, bad or anything. But some were truly controversial, and I wrote it that way for a reason, right? But what I did was I did try to write articles that in different styles, right? So some of them were very personal.
Yes.
Right, it was a personal experience, right?
Yeah.
Some of it was sort of policy, where I would just articulate and lay out, right?
Exactly.
And but I did that for a reason, because I was actually trying to appeal to a broader audience.
Absolutely, and people understand narratives in that.
No, absolutely, yeah.
But that's just it.
Yeah. But again, I think the one door that God has closed. Banning. What did you say? Yeah.
It's going to be the next that we're banning Warner work.
I know. Yeah. But no, I mean, like I said, I greatly appreciated the opportunity she did give me.
Well,
and hopefully we'll
maybe
have
you'll
some
get a
more
bigger, better one.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah. Everything happens for a reason.
No, absolutely. And trust me, I'm betting a farm on that.
See, that's why.
Yeah.
I can't fire myself. That's why I work for myself.
No, absolutely right.
All right, everybody.
Do you give yourself bad performance reviews?
You know, it's when I go home at night, and there's some nights I drive home and I'm thinking, man, did I rock that out today?
Yeah. No, the bad for an entrepreneur, for a business owner, the performance review is what's in the till.
Right.
At the end of the day.
Boy, no
right?
kidding. That's the truth.
Yeah, you open that baby up. I mean, it's all about production, right?
Right.
Did I make some bucks today? No. Oh, we got a problem.
Right.
Right? And so, absolutely, right? So, anyway, with that said, let's end it.
Right.
Until
next week, guys. Thank you so much. Yeah. Till next week.
So we got.
I'm Warner Workman.
Yeah. And I'm Darcy Shaker.
Right.
Here with Liberty Radio Hour, right?
Yeah, that's us.
Okay. So God bless, and we'll see y'all guys next week.
Cheers.
Right?
That was good.